You are listening to Church Talk with Isaac.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Isaac Watson, and you're tuning into another episode with us here at Church Talk with Isaac. I said us, right? Us. Reason why I said us is because once again, I am here and I have a special guest, my wife, Brittney Watson.
I'm back.
Look at
He
you.
loved it. He loved me. He wants me here to stay.
So we had such a good response last time to on our episode entitled Save Single and Ready to Mingle Part 2 that we decided to come on and do some more talk about relationships, some more talk about marriage, some more talk about singlehood. We got a lot of good feedback. So what I want to do is just take some time and just thank all of our viewers, thank all of our listeners for tuning in, for checking us out here on our podcast, supporting us, subscribing to my podcast, and all of the reviews that have been written. I always appreciate it, and I always want to demonstrate my appreciation for you all. Today, we have something special, a conversation that I think really needs to be had regarding relationships, because quite frankly, whether or not people realize it or not, many people don't know how to do this. Many people don't know how to do relationships the right way, do relationships God's way. And again, this is Church Talk with Isaac. So there's no topics or conversations that are off limits. We want to make sure that we cover multiple topics that can be a blessing, that can be a benefit to the church at large. Today, we're entitling this podcast episode, Will You Wedding Me?
Dun, dun, dun.
Will you wedding me? Now, what we did with this title is we replaced the word marry with the word wedding. Typically, in a traditional sense, the man would ask the wife, or the man would ask the woman, will you marry me? But what Brittney and I have learned over time is that oftentimes what both people are really looking towards is not a marriage, but the wedding. So really, especially in the traditional sense, and I'm gonna let my wife speak on it, but traditionally on the female perspective, it's not so much will you marry me as it is will you wedding me. What do you think about that, babe?
Yeah, I feel like, especially for women, we were kind of even raised in a culture or an environment that always pretty much talked about the wedding day. So you got all these princess movies, and you have all these different things starting from like the age of 5 that pretty much talks about the glamorous or the beautiful things that takes place on a wedding day. And I think that it really does us no justice, and it pretty much sets up for failure pretty much, because you already set your mind around a day as opposed to thinking about, okay, I actually have to do life with somebody. So I think that society has really jacked us up kind of, because that's all we think about. A lot of women, that's kind of what's instilled in you from Jump Street. And then you have social media now that we're in this new age, this new technology generation, where you get so many likes for beautiful things. And so people are looking forward to posting their pictures, or looking forward to showing, oh, this is what my wedding party did, or this is what we did different from what other people did, like this competitive thing. And so I really feel like it has really done us no justice, from starting from young ages to even social media, to the social media era. It kind of created an image that it's all glitz and glam. And so it leaves us to not really prepare for the life component of actually being married. So, yeah. What do you think, babe?
I think that is something that's very true. And, you really see that emphasis, like you said, in media. You really see that emphasis on the woman, on the female. I was talking to Brittney the other day, and one of the things that I was saying is that even when you look at Disney, period, most Disney pictures, cartoons revolve around a princess.
Yeah, for sure.
they revolve around the woman. Like most of the men didn't even have real names. If you think about Prince Charming, the Beast, Cinderella, like you don't really even have a real name for the majority of the princes in these Disney films, and it just shows how it kind of conditions women. Or girls, in a sense, who of course grows into women, conditions them to think about relationships or marriage a particular way. So what I kind of want to ask is, what are some things, if we feel like people, both male and female, are not properly looking at marriage the right way. They're looking towards the wedding. They're looking towards this picketed fence, this dog, this life where there's no issues. What are some things that can actually be done to prepare you for marriage while you're unmarried, while you're in the process, whether you're dating or courting, or whether you're just, spending time, as we talked about the last podcast, just spending time getting to know you? What are some things that you can intentionally do in order to prepare for marriage?
Well, I personally feel like, and this is just, I always speak from my personal experience, but I personally feel like the number one thing that for me helped me prepare. Now, I did talk about in the podcast that we just did, that I did none of these things in the hopes to find somebody, but I did these things just in the hopes to be my best self and be who God had created me to be. But I think that the number one thing that we have to actually develop is our relationship with God. Because I feel like I feel like we always try to do spiritual things aside from the source of it. And marriage is a spiritual thing. So it's not necessarily to make you happy or bring you happiness or to fill any type of voids, but it's actually to represent Christ in the church. And so in order for us to even represent Christ in the church, we have to have a relationship with the source. We have to have a relationship with God. So I think one of the main thing is to really just chase the creator, really just start to develop your relationship with God. If that looks like, I'm not talking about just going to church, because we do a really good job at that. Like, I think it's a study that proves that women pretty much dominates the church as far as attendance. So I'm not necessarily referring to church attendance, but really just getting in tune with God, developing a relationship with God, seeing and trying to see how God talks to you, just spending time with God, whether it be reading books or studying the Word of God or attending different conferences or church events. So just to become in tune with God and be in tune with God, what God wants to do with and through you. I think that's vital, especially specifically for me, because I think it's crazy how we want to be married and we want to technically, I know most of us don't even know that's the intent behind marriage, but we technically want to represent Christ in the church, but we don't even know what that looks like. And so for me, developing a relationship with God shows us what that looks like, so that when I do get into a relationship or once I do get into a marriage, I can fully execute my role as a wife, or you can fully execute your role as a husband, because now I have a relationship with Jesus and now I know what it looks like to represent him because I've spent time with him. So now his attributes, his characteristics are now mine.
So are you saying that it's important for you to become one with Christ before you become one with someone else?
Absolutely.
I agree both. It's just not on the woman perspective, but for the man perspective as well. I agree. I believe that it's important that you become one, because we're talking about, Christian courting, Christian marriage. I believe it's important that you become one with Christ before trying to become one with somebody else, because I think one of the things that's often overlooked, people, women looking to get chose, men looking to do the choosing season. But the fact of the matter is that there's a scripture, and it's always used as it relates to marriage, and it's, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Come on, somebody. And
obtains favor from the Lord. And that's true. I believe that. I believe that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But the thing is this, the scripture doesn't say he who finds a girlfriend, he who finds a baby mama.
All right.
It says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So what does that mean? That means that that means that the person that you look to marry should already have wife qualities.
That's good.
Before you look to wed them. And the fact of the matter is that even with the man should already have husband qualities before you're looking to become married. And the reason why it's important that you be joined with Christ before you try to join yourself with someone else, because when you join yourself with Christ, what that actually does for you is it shows you what it looks like to live like a dead man or to live like a dead woman.
That's so good.
It teaches you what it looks like, because to live is Christ and to die is gain. So to be yoked with Christ and to be one with Christ before trying to bring someone else into your relationship, you are already practicing selflessness. And if anyone wants a marriage to work, one of the things that you have to begin to master is what it looks like to lay your life down for someone else. Christ demonstrated that for us so beautifully on the cross. Nobody made him die. He didn't. No one killed him. He says, no man takes my life. I lay my life down. And I think that's the perfect picture of what it looks like to be one with someone, where you're just not giving them 50% and they give you 50%, but it's literally two dead people coming together and living by the power of the resurrected one who resurrects you into one new life. So I think that it's just a beautiful picture of what what God has designed for marriage, and it's displayed through our relationship with Jesus Christ.
So what do you, so I want you to be clear, because you talked about how God talks about, he that finds a wife. So how can a woman, or how can a man demonstrate, well, specifically woman, since we're talking about a wife, how can a man know that a wife has these qualities, or how can a woman pretty much reveal that she has these qualities without doing too much? Because we love the whole, we got to try out the boat type of situation, or, you see a lot of women now, they're cooking dinners for this man and they're doing all these wife things. So what would be the balance, or what are the boundaries that will come with something like this?
So I believe first and foremost that before you try to court someone, you should be friends. I think that a lot of the qualities will come out just in you simply being friends. I think one of the dangers of having a carnal mentality regarding courting, dating, marriage, weddings, all these types of things, I think one of the dangerous things you can do is make someone a wife before you actually make them a wife.
Ooh, so good.
Likewise, you can make somebody a husband before you actually make them a husband. And, they getting the milk for free. So why should they have to buy the cow?
I almost moved, but I mean,
please don't move. But you're doing everything, you're living together, you're cooking for one another, you're doing a lot of things, cleaning each other's house, it's just a bunch of stuff that you do.
Too much.
Just a bunch of stuff. Now, of course, this is our perspective, but just a bunch of things that are done that quite simply should be preserved for marriage. So I think that there are boundaries that needs to be set in place, because I think that when you look into a marriage, there should be things that you should be able to look forward to. So in order to set those boundaries in place, I think that some of the things that you need to do is develop a friendship first before any physicality get brought into the picture or anything like that. You need to develop friendship. Another thing that I think is key, and I actually learned this from the person who helped us in our journey, is to actually see how they interact around their family. I think that people are their truest self when they're around their family. So when it gets to a point to where you're being invited to family gatherings and things like that, I would recommend to pay close attention, because people are never who they say they are when you first meet them.
So you just thought I was just a ratchet mess, because when I get around my family, it's a whole different ballgame. But I think that's really important. And I think that on the friendship level, you can see so many things if you're really paying attention to it. You can see how they act under pressure. I feel like it was a time where an incident happened with my family and you were actually there. You remember? And you see me completely freak out and lose it. And I think you made a comment. You remember that day? You made a comment like, I never seen you like this before. But I think friendship reveals so many things. And I think it's really important to see them under pressure, because the same reactions that they have under pressure as on a friendship level. And I'm not talking about as far as disputes between you two, but I mean disputes regarding whatever. Because on friends, you're probably going to share a lot of different things and share different conversations and you'll just have a lot of different interactions that I really feel like will reveal so much. You see how they deal with anger.
Absolutely.
Because I think I had like I know I had like an anger issue.
God helped you.
He did.
I think marriage kind of helped you with that too.
Yeah, whatever. But I think you were able to see a lot of those things before on a friendship level, because we would get into it all the time. I don't even know how we're married now.
Mm-hmm. But seriously, I think as far as that is concerned, because you did have a really bad temper, but I do think that marriage helped you with that, because one of the things that marriage does is it puts a mirror in front of you and it makes you deal with you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that another thing, since we're talking about like things to prepare for marriage, I think that it's important for us to deal with ourselves, because what we think is that once we get married, all these issues with ourselves are going to go away. Baby, marriage is going to magnify that stuff so much that you thought that you don't have to deal with certain things, whatever it be, whether it be anger, whether it be you just nasty naturally, whether it be, you got insecurities, whatever.
Naturally nasty.
Whatever the case may be, when you get with somebody, it's just going to magnify those things. So let me just demystify that perspective that you think that you never have to really deal with the things, the bad parts of you, because when you get into a relationship and when you get into marriage, that's going to expose the crap out of all your dysfunctions. And if we never deal with it before we even enter the friendship portion of things, your marriage going to be kind of jacked up, especially if you don't have the heart to correct these things, or if you're too prideful. I think pride is a big thing, but especially if you're too prideful to even face these things before you invite somebody into your world.
Absolutely. There's so many different things that we can talk about regarding this. And I think that some of you, we'll be looking out this week, because what we'll probably do is put out another episode, a bonus episode, so we can just kind of elaborate on some of these things. And we're going to talk about what happens after you become married. And some of the things that you have to deal with, and things that you may deal with that you didn't deal with that you probably should have dealt with before you got married. So we're gonna do that. So listen, we would love to hear some of your feedback. We would love to hear from you. Do me a favor, send me an email. Go to my website, isaacwatsonministries.com, and send me a message. Let us know some of the things that you want to hear, even regarding this. And let me tell you, there's no topics that are off limits. I will try to help you. My wife and I, she's gonna come on as long as we need her to.
So I need you guys to give a lot of feedback, because I want to take over Church Talk with Isaac.
We're gonna get her own podcast going.
He's not gonna
take over.
He's not gonna let me come back if y'all don't say good things. So say some good things. This is a topic, relationships in general. I think you talked about it before. It's something that we're extremely passionate about. Do we feel like we have all the answers? Absolutely not. But I feel like our job is to give you what we have. This is ministry. To try to help people prevent the same issues that you did, even if we don't know you, so we just give you our perspective. We give you what worked for us, and hopefully some of the things will work for you, or maybe you have to tweak some of the stuff, according to your lifestyle, and do whatever with it. But this is our role. We're not a know-it-all marriage experts or whatever the case may be, but we do know that we have a healthy marriage. We do know that there are certain things that God had us do and go through to get to that place. And so that's just our heart to help. So yes, like you said,
we even trying to figure it out right now. We got our baby. We doing this podcast, and Eden is in the background grunting, and we trying to multitask.
Balance. I'm over here sweating. I'm trying to be a mom right now.
But listen, we thank y'all so much for tuning in to Church Talk with Isaac. Again, let us know your feedback. We also appreciate, leave a review if you're viewing from Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be, or even my Church Talk with Isaac Facebook group. Go on there, communicate with us, leave a review. Let us know how the podcast has been helping you. Share it. Let someone hear this that you know may need to hear it. And we'll talk to you all soon. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a blessed week.
Thank you for listening to Church Talk with Isaac. If you enjoy our content and benefit from this podcast, do me a favor and subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, family, and colleagues. I'm also on all social media platforms and would love to connect with you. You can also partner with us by visiting isaacwatsonministries.com and clicking donate. Your partnership helps us to get the message of Jesus through Isaac Watson Ministries to the world. Talk to you soon.